Are you going to give me a cue?
It's good.
Oh, okay.
I played an evil reindeer.
I always wanted to play pretend.
Soupy Sales School of Hangers and Drama.
It's gonna be fun for me because I like talking about acting. I love acting.
Well, I actually enjoy Hurt Feelings.
There's a TV series called Supergirl that had a Superman. I didn't even get to read for that.
Or they're scared of me, one of the two.
Correct.
What the hell's a monologue?
Is that Julie Andrews?
I'm passionate about that.
Again, my wig came off, and I put it back on, and it was on backwards.
Show must go on.
Hi, my name is Mike Fleming, and this is Inside the Eclipse Studio. It's an ongoing series of interviews with talented actors around the Santa Clarita Valley, exploring their motivations and their inspirations for the craft that they engage in. And today, we're talking to Miranda Jane Bowling. Miranda, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm doing fine, and you look very happy. It looks like you're just so enjoying your life and what's going on.
Well, I started school a couple months ago.
Sorry.
Well, it's actually not very bad. I have a bunch of classes. Some of them.
But you have to go to all of them, correct?
Yeah, you have to go to all of them every day.
So that's kind of a life lesson. It's not always, as good as you want it to be, but you still have to do it anyway. I admire you for doing that. So I was reading your resume earlier. You're an incredibly active entertainer and performer just in the first few years of getting into this. So I'm dying to know, how did you get into the entertainment industry, as it were, or into acting?
My mom signed me when I was 7. My mom signed me up for this little summer workshop show. It was called The Mediating Munchkins of Oz.
Wow, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, it was. It's basically like a sequel to the Wizard of Oz, and I was a Winkie, and I just loved acting since then.
So you were a monkey?
Winkie. It's like one of those flying monkeys.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a whole different level of acting. You go from a monkey to a Winkie, so I get it. Actually, I think that's wonderful. And so that was your first experience? Was that at one of the theaters here in the Santa Clarita Valley?
It was at the Canyon Theater Guild, and a lot of the other shows I've done were there.
I'm dying to know, how did you audition to be a Winkie?
Well, it was a summer workshop show, so everybody got into it.
Okay.
So I think like the first few days we did like icebreakers and practices of the lines and stuff. And then we did this auditioning process, and I got a Winkie.
So it was probably a lot of movement involved and almost mime, right? Because do Winkies, do they have dialogue?
Well, this was a sequel to it.
Okay.
So we had this little song. I think it was about how they were exploited for the movie. But my first real auditioning process was for Willy Wonka.
When you come from a place of no experience on the stage and or film, what would you say to somebody who was just about to step into that first frame of experience? What would you recommend to them about how to deal with that pressure?
I would recommend to always just have fun. A lot of actors just do it for professional things. But I think when you're little and when you're just trying it out, you should just always have fun and see if you like it.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very valuable lesson. In fact, I think it's a valuable lesson even for experienced actors to remember to have fun, because that can be forgotten in the pressure of the business. So in the process of these last few years, what's the most valuable training you've received?
A couple years before the quarantine, Um, I did Matilda, and I was the Matilda understudy, and I had to learn that I had to work on it even when there wasn't really a lot of rehearsals where I could do it with everybody else. And it really taught me that I can do it. I just have to work really hard for it.
Did you ever have to step in as the understudy into the leading role?
There was an understudy show, so all of the understudies could play the part that they practiced.
I recently went to a show at the Canyon Theater Guild where there was a last minute change, and the understudy did have to step in the day of. And I was sitting in the audience very nervous for that person, but they had actually prepared themselves. They knew the lines, and they came in with they might have been frightened, but they didn't show it at all. So that's very cool. So you have that experience too. Do you think that your most valuable training is just having worked as an understudy?
I think it was just preparing to be an understudy, because I mean, there's a lot of work. You have to learn two roles, and sometimes there's a lot of lines, and you kind of get them mixed up. So it was really just the preparing to be the understudy that really made me learn something.
Yeah, they say the best experience is just doing it sometimes, you know, whatever may happen, you just have to do it. So in your experience, what would you like to see happen in Santa Clarita? And let me preface that by saying, obviously, we've gone through the last 18 months of the COVID experience. And so that's possibly been a real awakening for actors, musicians, etc. Maybe made them value what they do more, or possibly made them a little more cynical about all of it. So what do you think you would like to see happen in Santa Clarita for the ongoing future in theater?
Well, in theater, I really want to have, because Shakespeare is more like for adults and young adults. So I was thinking maybe like a youth Shakespeare club thing or something like that, so that kids my age can participate in Shakespeare things, so that they can learn about it. They can have a little history lesson while they act, and they can learn and they can grow.
That's an excellent idea, actually, because Shakespeare is, it's hard for many adults to grasp, but if you have the right teacher or the right director, that makes sense of it. And I love the idea of a younger cast performing a Shakespeare classic. I would go to see that. And I hope you do it. I hope you do it.
I really hope I can.
All right, so, okay, here's kind of a personal question. What's the scariest and or most exciting moment for you on stage so far? You can do scariest and exciting in separate stories.
I'd say, so a couple years before the pandemic, I was in a show called The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and I played Lucy. And during one of the shows, a little set piece fell, and it was really scary because like I was 8 years old at the time, and I didn't even know how to improvise, and it was really scary and exciting, because I kind of learned how to improvise with my castmates. We got out of the situation, and the show went on.
Improvisation is an incredible tool in my experience. And I've seen some performers who were bound to script venture into improvisation, and it was very frightening for them. But they always seem to come out the other side as better actors and maybe better people too, because they had to kind of trust their instincts and not listen to their insecurities. I think that's a great thing that you got to experience that. So here's what we know. We find out what your next role is going to be. What is the one role right now that you would like to perform?
Well, I really want to be young Allison from Fun Home, because I really love love the song Ring of Keys, and I've been practicing it all of quarantine, and um, I just really love the character, and I feel like I could play that character well.
Wonderful. So who's your favorite actor or actress?
No doubt, Mandy Gonzalez.
Really? All right, and now please tell me some of her work so the audience knows.
Well, Mandy Gonzalez, not too many people have heard about the show, but it's pretty popular. It's called In the Heights, and she played Nina. She's now playing Angelica in Hamilton. And she just wrote a book called Fearless, and it's really good.
Wow, wonderful. All right, so I'm going to go off script here. I just put my questions away. So I want to know, when you're thinking about, I mean, you obviously love what you're doing. You know, it gives you a lot of joy. So what do you, in your mind, what are your next steps? Because I'm assuming you're in high school.
I'm in junior high.
Oh, please, are you serious?
Yeah, I'm in 7th grade.
I'm really impressed now. Maybe that's just a testament to my age, but I figured you, at least for the way you're conducting yourself, that you were in high school. So, all right, it might be early for this question, but what the heck? Let's just think about it. Where would you like to go with your pursuit and love of acting?
Well, obviously, I want to be on Broadway. It was really always my dream, and also I might want to be on TV, maybe not. I mean, but I think I should do stage acting instead of TV acting.
All right, now that's very interesting because it is exponentially different, the two of them, and not the ultimate product, which you already know, but to be on stage, which is that immediate reaction from the audience, which of course is a wonderful thing to experience. But it also, you have to project, you have to be larger than life in some ways and to go beyond the footlights. But then so many really good actors on film had their beginnings in theater, right? You think about Meryl Streep and some of those actresses, of course. So that's an interesting thing. So you see yourself possibly taking off to the big city of New York, huh?
Yes. I really want to experience a lot, like go to Broadway Street, wherever it is.
It's on Broadway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go to one of the shows, like experience as much as I can.
Wonderful. Well, actually, and I really hope that you have that experience of going to Broadway. It's just got that thing. And they just recently, of course, came back on stage after the COVID experience. It was quite a celebration to watch that on television. So now, you also said you have a favorite song. So that makes me assume that you sing.
Yes, I sing a lot, and a lot of the time my brothers are like, Miranda, stop singing, it's really annoying. So that's going for me. But I really, really love musical theater. I'm really sorry if you prefer just plays, but I prefer musicals.
I don't think that's anything to question yourself about. There's a great and rich and deep history of musical theater. In fact, I think in some ways, musical theater, and I'm talking back in the 30s and 40s, Rodgers and Hammerstein, that really in some ways kept New York theater alive because more people were going to entertain that. You'll have to forgive me. I have a dog who's running around in front of me here, so I'm getting a little distracted. But so as a singer, you like musical comedy. What would be your favorite musical?
I'm thinking Wicked. I really, really love Wicked.
Wow. Okay. And are you an alto?
My mom says I'm an alto, but almost all of the teachers I've ever had say that I'm a soprano. And honestly, I think I'm a mezzo.
Right in between.
Yeah,
I would think
I can go
the goal is to be both, you know,
yeah.
right? And are there any pop singers that you like to sing their music?
I really like Taylor Swift. I have since I was like 10 years old. But I haven't really been listening to her a lot. This really reminds me I need to listen to her.
Well, I'm glad to be of service. Well, you know what? I love the fact that you're doing it, first of all, and that you're doing it for the right reasons, and that you also have a vision of where you want to go with it, you know. And I think possibly the key is you just keep your mind open to where it could go. And I think the one thing you said in the beginning of the interview that I really rang true for me is to have fun. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And I hope to see you on the stage soon here in town or possibly in New York. I don't know when I'm going there next, but or maybe down here at the Amundsen Theater in Los Angeles. That would be great, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, you take care of yourself. Keep fighting the good fight. My name is Michael Fleming. We've been talking to Miranda. This is inside the Eclipse studio. Keep watching. You're looking at people that you will soon be seeing in the limelight at your theater near you.